Okay, good evening. We appreciate so much that you joined us tonight for our webinar. This is Mrs. Cappers here, one of our hardworking kindergarten teachers that will present in just a moment. But again, we wanted to thank you for coming out tonight and wanted to share the news that we've upgraded our remote plan for our youngest students, K-4, which I'll go into in a little bit of detail in just a moment. And this reflects a change of when we would have a short-term closure or an unexpected closure for a day or so. We will upgrade our long-term plan if we ever have to use it, hopefully not. But this is in response to a day that we may have to take because we closed the campus, where in the past we may have used packets to do work at home. We have now decided to go live with students with instruction online, much to do because of the efforts of our tech team, the investment that our district has made in Chromebooks, and the incredible work that our teachers have done in preparing students. We have received an additional shipment of Chromebooks just recently. These will be distributed soon, and it will make us a fully stocked K-12 one-to-one Chromebook device program, which we're excited about. We're excited about this for our students, not only now, but in the future. One of the takeaways that we will take from this whole situation is what is possible. And none of us would have ever imagined what could happen with a kindergarten student with a Chromebook that goes in their backpack home and comes back the next day. But it has been incredible to watch how much they've been able to acclimate to this, and we appreciate your support. We can't thank, again, our amazing teachers enough for all they've done to prepare for this since March, and all they continue to do, and their forward thinking in not only supporting our students, but supporting our families. And finally, I just want to acknowledge you all, the parents. We have relied on you and our continued partnership since the beginning of this, and we cannot thank you enough for helping us at home and asking good questions on how we can further support our students throughout this. So let me first just share my screen and show you the letter that you did receive already. This is the short-term closure plan. And what you see here is that most of the grade levels have a schedule of set times. Teachers have their own Google Classrooms, and they have communicated with families in regard to logins. And these would be the set times that they would meet with their students. We do know that our youngest may have challenges in regard to stamina and staying on, as long as 20, 30 minutes, but we're going to do our best to keep them engaged. And we ask for your support as we do this for them to get acclimated to this new way of learning at home if we need to use it. Notice that our STEAM classes occur once throughout the week if we were to do a short-term closure, and that our specials have a designated time as well. If at any time you're unsure about how to log in, or if you haven't received that information just yet, feel free to reach out to your child's homeroom teacher, and they'll be able to walk you through those steps. What I'd ask you to do when we go through this webinar is that if you have comments, please leave them in the chat. If you have questions, please use the Q&A, and we'll review the Q&A throughout this session tonight and answer whatever questions you have during the presentation. But again, I want to thank Mrs. Cappers for spending a late night at school. You can see she's still in her classroom. And thank you again. She's going to walk us through a bunch of topics and ways in which to get your child set up online so they could have a successful day at home. So thank you again, Ms. Kappers.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sure by this point, your children could probably teach you more than I can because they are working diligently in the classroom using the computers. They're practicing their Google Meets and signing on. But I'm just going to share my screen and show you a few things that might help you to navigate easier at home as well. Okay, so each of your children either have or will be getting soon a Chromebook. Their teacher should have sent home a QR code. At this point, it's a little black and white code that is linked to their Google emails. And what the district has done has applied every Chromebook with an automatic camera. So when the Chromebook turns on, the camera does as well. And you will see that there's a box on the screen that the child can just simply hold their QR code up in front of, and it will automatically log them in so that they don't have to type in all of their credentials to get in. It is fast, easy, and a great way for them to log in. When the computer starts to load, it should automatically open up the main page of Clever. And this is where they'll find most of the platforms that we'll be using. If for some reason it doesn't automatically load, you can just simply type in clever.com and then it will ask for you to scan that QR code once again. Okay, so this is what the screen should look like, give or take a few icons, because mine is a little bit different. Some teachers have created their own classroom page. And the reason for this is maybe there are some websites or apps on here that they want their age group to use that may not be applicable to older grades. If your classroom teacher does not have one, that's fine. There is a district page that has most of the platforms that we will be using. So as you can see, I have one here for my class, and when I click on it, you can see all of the icons and apps and websites that my students use specifically. But again, like I said, if your teacher doesn't have this, that's okay. There is a district page that has all of them as well. So there are many different things that you can explore and navigate yourself on here. Your children probably are familiar with most of them. The two that I wanted to talk about tonight are the two main platforms that we'll be using if we go remote, which is Google Classroom and Seesaw. We'll start with Google Classroom. You can access it here through Clever. There are many other ways you can access it as well by just simply opening a tab like this. And then in the corner, you'll see there's I call it the waffle. The students get a kick out of that, but I believe that the technical term is G Suite. When you click on it here, hold on, sorry, you can see that there's Classroom here as well. There's many different ways. I think the simplest way is for us to just stick with Clever and click on the icon here. So once we do that, it'll bring your child right to their homeroom teacher's classroom page. It logs them in for them. Let's give it a second. Okay, and now you'll see here that they have a homeroom page, and now every child will have a grade level special area page and a grade level STEAM. Your children should only have 3 classrooms here. These are just some extras that I have. And what we're going to focus on first is the homeroom teacher. So if they click on that, it'll bring them to their classroom. And of course, it might not look exactly like mine. Each teacher customizes their Google Classroom and online resources to best fit their students' needs. However, the main layout is the same. So up here, there are 3 icons that you will see. The first one is the stream, which is what we're on now. And here is just a simple like notice board for the teacher to send announcements or updates. You will also see that the children can add pictures. My students added pictures of themselves in their Halloween costumes. Here's another example. As a teacher, I had posted a library where the students could read all different books from Llama Llama, and they can click on it and read the book. And then you can also see when new assignments are posted. This is pretty much just like the announcement page. Okay, the second tab up here is classwork, and that's where you will find work that your teacher has assigned to you. Now, as you can see in mine right now, there are a lot of things there. I do post things just for the children to navigate and explore and play around with. There might not be any assignments in your child's classroom at this point. but I wanted you to see what it might look like. So I have different titles, and here is this week's work, for example. We're focusing on these topics, so I put an assignment there. And now you can see that there are 3 links to different Seesaw assignments, which is another platform that we'll use, and we can talk about that next. All the child needs to do is click on the Seesaw icon here, and it will bring them directly to the assignment that I want them to complete. They don't have to turn anything in or do anything more on Google Classroom. Just simply click on the icon and it will bring them directly to it. Your teacher might also post other, oops, what did I do here? Your classroom teacher might post other websites or platforms that the children can go to, such as RazKids or BookFlix. Any of those materials will be posted here for you to click on, and will link right into the assignment that they would like them to complete. And the last tab up here is just a list of all the people who are in the class. And if you need to email the teacher, you can simply click on one of these links here and email teacher or another student if that's necessary. Okay, going back to the stream. This is where you will find the Google Meet link. Now, when Mr. Carlson just showed the schedule, there are designated times for each grade level to log in and meet with their teacher live. So if that is the case, you'll start in Clever. You'll go to Google Classroom, click on your homeroom teacher's classroom, and it will bring you to the main page of the stream. Now, every teacher will have a Meet link right underneath their name. Some days or times you might see it when it's appropriate. Some days and times you might not, because we are able to turn it on and off just so that students aren't meeting in there without a teacher. So at the times that you are designated to sign on, it will be on, and all the students need to do is go into their classroom and click on that link. And it will bring them directly into Google Meet. And that link doesn't change, so will always be there, and it will always be the same for every lesson each day. When they do log in on their Chromebooks, I'm not on a Chromebook right now, but when they do log in on their Chromebooks, I've noticed that another box pops up here in the left-hand corner, and it asks for you to allow the microphone and the video. So please make sure that you click allow so that those things are working when they sign in. As we've been playing around with it in the classroom, I've also noticed that it is helpful that the children mute themselves by clicking this button here. There's a microphone and a camera. In order to mute themselves, they just click on it and it turns the microphone red. If they can do this before they hit join now, it helps to alleviate some of the noise as they sign in, and then we can unmute as the teacher directs them to. So all they would do now is click join now. And I'm going to log into this as well, just so that we can see some of the tools that are located on the side. I'm going to turn off my camera. Okay, so when they log in, they're going to see a bunch of different faces up here on the screen with the students in their classroom. If you want to change how they're viewing the class, you can click on the grid view up here at the top, and there are different options for you depending on the activity that you're doing with the class. You can enable the grid view so that every time that the child logs on, they can see the whole class at the same time. I also have my students highlight the speaker. So whenever someone is speaking, it will highlight the box so that they know who to direct, who to direct their attention to. Over here, let me just move myself to the other side. Over here is the little people icon. When they click on that, it'll show them all of the students that are in their class and in their Google Meet. This is important because you can find the teacher's name. It won't always be at the top. And you're able to click on the little pin right here that's over the teacher's face. When you click on this, it will allow for the teacher's face to always be the one on the screen. It will minimize all of the other students. So if the teacher is reading a book or teaching a lesson, you want the main focus to be on the teacher, that is one way that you can do it. It will enlarge her or him and make it full screen. I find this to be really helpful to keep their attention and engage them. Sometimes when they're seeing the students around them, they can be silly or get distracted what they're doing on their cameras. So pinning them is very helpful. Also up here is the little chat button. So if the child has a question or a comment that's appropriate for the class, they can comment and write their question right in here, and the teacher will be able to read it. Okay, this icon here is for small grouping, which we would need a whole nother lesson or webinar on, and we probably won't touch upon unless we have a long-term closure, which hopefully that won't happen. Other than that, in Google Meet, those are really the only icons that you need to be concerned about, making sure that the child knows how to turn their microphone on and off, their video on and off. And then when they're done, and it's time to log out, they can just click the phone and it will log them out of the meet. And again, like I said, every time they need to go into Google Meet, they'll go right to their Google Classroom and click on that link, which will always be there and does not change. Okay, so this is Google Classroom and Google Meet. I'm going to go back to Clever, where we started. And again, this is the website that the computer automatically signs us into. And it's a one-time sign-in website. So once the apps on here are signed into, the children can click on them without having to sign in. So the next platform I'm going to talk about is Seesaw. I'm going to click on that here. Seesaw is a great program that allows us to assign lessons to the students and see their activity and share their work with their families. There are different apps that you can download if you choose to. It's not mandatory, but there is a family app that you can download for Seesaw, and this allows you to see notifications right on your phone and the work that your children are doing right on your phone. It does require some QR codes for this website specifically, which I'm sure your teacher has sent home. If not, you can always ask for that. I did sign in now as a demo student, so you can see what it looks like when your child logs on. Okay, so this is the main screen. Now, when you log into Seesaw, this here is considered, this here is considered the journal. And the journal is individualized for each student. So when they log on, they can see all of the work that they've completed. I haven't completed any work because this is a demo class, but all of their work would be completed here. And the great part is you can like it and you can write a comment to them and they can see it, the teacher can see it. The teacher will need to approve it before it's visible as well. And in the bottom corner, if there's something you really love, you can always print it out or share it, email it to yourself, copy it to your computer. It's great to have this so that it's just like having paperwork, but stored so conveniently in this website. Okay, so this is the journal where you see the completed work here, which most of the students know when they see that red circle up here next to activities, that means that they have been assigned work and they have things that they need to complete. So when they click on it, it will bring up all of the unfinished assignments. And you can see that it's unfinished. It says it's waiting for a response. So when the child is ready to do the assignment, they can read the directions here up at the top. You'll notice that there are some different icons here. We're going to talk about that once we go into the assignment, but it pretty much shows the child what tool they will need to complete the assignment. Some of them, I don't know if there is one here, but some of them, yes, have directions written here as well as an audio version here. So if the child cannot read the directions by themselves, they can simply click the play button and the directions will be read to them. So if they wanted to go into an assignment, we can go into one of these. They're going to click Add Response. When they do that, it will open them up into the assignment and all of the tools will be located along the outside of the screen. There are many tools, which I'm sure they've all gotten a chance to play with. This one here is the letter T. This tells the students that they can set up a text box. So it pops up on the screen and then they can write their name or a response to a question depending on the activity. The next icon here is a microphone. So clicking on this allows them to record themselves, which is great for the teacher if they want to hear them read or say vowel sounds, anything of that sort. So they click the microphone and begin speaking, and then there's a button in the corner where they can hit done and it will save the recording and the teacher will be able to hear it. The next icon is a camera. So here they can click on that to take a picture of themselves, or they can upload a picture that was previously saved to the computer. I noticed some of the assignments say, look around the house and find something that starts with the letter B, for example. They could take a photo of that and upload it right to their Seesaw activity. Here we have some shapes that can be added and backgrounds. If the older kids are working on a research project or a homework where they need to include the link of where they found their information, they could simply click on this and copy and paste the web address, and that will also get linked to their activity. For the younger kids, they'll mostly be using the icons that are down here. In order to drag these pictures into the trash or into the sea, you have to click on the finger. It's kind of like the arrow. So it's highlighted blue, which means it's ready to go. So now I can take an icon and move it, or a picture, and move it into the sea. If I need to write, I can use the pencil. And over here, you can see that you can change the colors and you can write on the screen. This is a pen, so you can write a little thicker. And then here's a highlighter. So sometimes there are word finds or activities where you would need to use the highlighter. This is a magic pen, which the kids love to do. It comes out pretty cool. You can see they have some fun with that. And then of course an eraser. If they make a mistake, you can simply erase their work. So this website is awesome because it's just like having the paper in front of you with all of these tools that you would normally have at your desk to complete it. Sometimes an assignment has more than one page, and if that's the case, you'll see them listed over here. So for example, this is the first page that we're all looking at now. If I click on number 2, it will bring me to the next page. And you can see that this question is asking for them to write a sentence. So here they would need to use the text box to type, or a pen or pencil to write it out. When they're done with their assignment, they can click on the green check mark here, and that will send the completed assignment to their teacher. If they're working on it and they feel that they want to come back to it or don't have time to finish it, they can click the draft button, and it won't send it to the teacher. It will save the work that they've completed so far, and they can always come back to it and finish it at another time. One other thing up here, if your child is in there trying to complete the assignment and forgets the specific instructions, they can simply click on this up here and it will pop up in a small screen just to remind them what they were asked to do. Okay, so when they're done, they're going to hit submit and turn it in, and it will send it to the teacher. So now you can see there's a little bar up here that says waiting for the teacher's approval. So this gets sent to the teacher, and then they can comment and like it and send it back to the child, and it will post on their journal. Another important icon on Seesaw is the inbox. So this here, many teachers are using both Google Classroom and Seesaw to get information and announcements over to parents, just so that we have many different outlets to make sure that the announcements do get to everyone. So if there is an announcement, this little red icon will pop up here next to the inbox icon. And when you click on it, the class announcements will be listed here as well. These are personal messages, so these go back and forth to you and the teacher privately. But here notifications are announcements that are given to all of the students and that everyone will be able to see. And the last thing is the blog. The blog here is kind of like a virtual bulletin board. So the teacher approves specific activities that the children complete, and they will be posted onto the blog, and then everybody can see them in the class. So you can see this is something that Mr. Delasperanza's class did, and he was able to comment, and other teachers were able to comment on there. Okay, and I think that's everything with Seesaw. Again, you can access it through Clever. It's right here at the bottom, and these two icons are the major ones. Mr. Carlson, were there any questions that I didn't touch upon?
No questions just yet.
Okay. If anyone has any questions or
just,
wants me to show them anything specifically, I'd be happy to do that.
If anybody has any questions, they can put it in the Q&A, and we can specifically address that question. If you have questions in regard to the remote schedule, please don't hesitate to ask. I just wanted to point out too that we'll soon be sending out a link to a website that was referenced in the letter already, but that the kindergarten team is going to further develop, which will show, short snippets of what Megan has explained tonight. So, if you ever do have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. That'll help us populate that short list. And let's see, we have one question here. What will happen if we go remote and parents are still working? In regard to that, I can't say for sure, but similar to last year, oftentimes a long-term closure is something that is also paired with the situation where there would be a close down regionally. In some instances, across the state and also the country, is there have been times where schools have shut down for precautionary measures, or also advised maybe by the Department of Health for 2 weeks. That doesn't result in a close down, but fortunately we have not been in that situation, but you have heard that in other places. So parents would have to do their best in regard to childcare, but in the past, even when we had the shutdown, if we are permitted, as we were in the past, to offer daycare, we certainly will do our best to get that up and running as soon as possible. Any other questions?
Mr. Carlson, I forgot to mention, I should just share my screen again quickly, that when the students have to go to their special area teacher for their live meeting, I wanted to just show them quickly where they would find that. So when we go into Google Classroom, there are the 3 classrooms up at the top: their homeroom teacher, the special area teacher, and the STEAM class. Sorry, it just takes a minute to load. So they would click on the special area teacher. So all their specials will be in this one classroom. And depending on the day, they'll have PE or music. The link will pop up here just like there was in the homeroom class. And then just simply click on that and log into their special. It's not the same link as the homeroom class, so that you have to make sure that when you're going to special, you're clicking on the special area classroom and not the child's homeroom class. And the same goes for STEAM as well. Sorry, forgot to share that.
All right. Any other questions? Could parents receive their child's QR codes via email so they have a backup copy in case anything happens to the original one sent home?
That's a great question. I can look into that. That's a great question.
We'll look into that. We also are looking into the Clever does have a family portal as well, and we're asking our tech department to look into that too, so that a parent has a backup login that can support their child as well. So, but I do believe there is a way for a QR code to be sent, or for a parent to log in. This is a new use for this specific application, so we'll make sure that we forward your request to our tech department to look into that.
If for some reason the QR code is lost, they can always log into their computer with their Google email and password that was also sent to them for short-term purposes.
Exactly. Let me explain what Megan is talking about. If you go to HP Schools and you go to for students and go down to Clever Portal, you'll see here. So you can click the Clever badge there. If you have a Clever badge, as Megan explained, the K-4 Chromebooks are prompted to do that on its own. But you could also log in with Google here, and your child can use their Google login. If you're not sure what that is, you can contact your child's teacher and they can help you out with that. Any other questions? All right, Megan, we want to thank you again for your staying late, all your hard work, and not only getting prepared tonight, but also you as the representative for the rest of the teaching staff. We can't thank you enough for everything that you've all done, especially the kindergarten team with all the little students that have really never had this experience before, having an incredible time with learning this new technology and opening all these possibilities. We can't thank you and the rest of the team, as well as our teachers. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to our parents for your continued support. And we completely appreciate your support, and we wish you all well. All right. Have a great evening. Thank you.